And we're recording. All right. So rather than waste time, let's just get into it. So Brock Bowers injured. Kirby said Superman's dead. So that was a new update. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it other than it sucks. If there's anyone that's going to recover fast from an ankle injury, it's going to be Brock Bowers, especially that tightrope surgery. I know a lot of people say that he's not going to come back till the end of the regular season, maybe Tech. I think Brock Bowers is going to come back against Tennessee or Ole Miss. Now I could be wrong, and it's fine by me. He can get healthy as long if we're handling business, which I think we should. And I think we can talk about that in a little bit, but if if he's not 100%, I wouldn't want to run him out there. So I think Georgia's going to be fine. I hate it for Brock because he very easily could have been in the Heisman.
Probably would have been in the conversation at least. He might have.
Yeah, yeah. So take it from there, wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, obviously disappointing. It's what we said. I think the last show is let's just get out of Nashville and try to get healthy, right? And we were unsuccessful at doing that. So
yeah,
we won, but it was costly. Trust went down. In addition, Kendall Milton came out of the game after the first half.
First or second half. I can't really remember that one, but yeah.
But anyway, so we're definitely still a banged up football team. So hopefully going into the break, the team can adjust, meaning offensively, because I think there's going to be a ton of adjustments because the offense, to some extent, ran through Brock Bowers, especially when we were being pushed, right? I think that was the safety blanket. So we're going to have to kind of retool and rethink. And then so it kind of a silver lining, I guess, is that it happened now going into the bye week so we could kind of reacclimate ourselves and offensively Bobo could kind of reassess. Team could get used to it. Delp has to understand that he's probably going to be a more important role now, as well as it's going to be really important for this receiving core that I think is starting to come together. I think, there's enough offensive weapons. Georgia has enough talent that we should be fine. Should be on paper, but so yeah, we'll see. I was going to mention one other thing too about that, but obviously I've forgotten it. But I think that what I was going to say is I don't want to get in predictions of when Brock Bowers is going to be back. I have no idea. But
but I mean, the reason why I said that is because Brock Bowers wants to play for the University of Georgia, and he loves his school. And the hand wringing that Georgia fans do. I know it's natural for this fan base to do, but man, it's really annoying. It's just annoying. I cannot stand it. One player doesn't win or lose you a game. This isn't basketball.
Well, they fall into, in my opinion, two categories. You're either probably it's still hard for you to get rid of the Larry Munson in you, which I fall victim to that.
Right.
I grew up listening to the guy and being really nervous about every game that was seemingly played, and the casual fan who thinks football is fantasy football, and it doesn't. And I think that was Kirby's point when he said Superman's dead. Is like, one guy is not going to carry a team, and other guys there's a lot of other guys on the team that can step up and going to have to, right?
Yeah. I mean, if it was Carson Beck that went down, that's a little bit more concerning than, and Brock is a lot better, but it would be a lot more concerning because he touches the ball every play.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's the position, not the player necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So enough of Brock talk. I'm sure everyone, the 12 people are actually, we went up. Our numbers have gotten bigger, guys. Thanks for joining the big community.
We're on a roll. It's the big Mo, man. Momentum.
Yeah, we had 24 views. Boy,
look at that.
All right. So everyone's probably heard about the Brock Bowers and people losing their minds over it. It feels like 20 years ago that we played Vanderbilt. Let's kind of get a recap. Georgia won 37-20. Georgia was in control the entire time. There wasn't a moment where I thought, oh my God, they're going to choke this one away. There wasn't any of that. It was just frustrating to watch, especially the second half. The sloppiness, the turnovers, penalties, not executing whenever it needed to be executed. It was just a frustrating watch. Now, I did. There's a gnat in my camera view. I did see that, basically, there's Graham Coffee, shout out Graham, and then Bud Elliott, who's a pundit, and I think he used to be a coach. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, basically said that Georgia was running plays that they would and defensive formations that they never run.
Really?
Yeah. And I saw some of that too. There were even before Bowers was hurt, I saw some formations that were a little different.
On offense or defense?
Offense for sure. Defense, that touchdown on the first drive, that was a funky looking defensive formation. But anyway,
one where Kirby pulled Tyke over to the side after.
Yeah,
that one. Oh.
Yeah, it was a funky looking formation. So I think Georgia basically treated this like a scrimmage, a get right, see what we can, because we're gonna beat Vanderbilt. There's not really any worry that we're gonna lose. We have the better athletes, and if we are falling behind, we'll start doing what we usually do. But I think Georgia, same with the Ball State game, same with UT Martin. Shout out UT Martin. Who else? I even think that we were trying to do that stuff against like South Carolina.
I don't know. I'm not astute enough to know, but here's what I do know. Even if we are, there's some things that are going to have to be fixed.
I totally agree.
Because it looks, and again, I don't know, but it looks like this team sometimes goes through mental lapses, like where they lose concentration.
Yeah.
Those turnovers, that's been a problem. I don't know what Georgia's differential is on the year, but we're not winning it. We're not positive. I guarantee you that. And Kirby talked about it. If Brock is out and it's going to take a while for the offense to step up, defense is going to have to step up. One way they can step up is turnovers, man. And offense is going to have to do their part. Quit turning the daggum ball over, man. And you can't do that. And then the other area is red zone defense. Used to be Georgia. You weren't the last couple of years. You weren't going to score on Georgia, touchdowns, right? You might kick field goals. This year we've given up more. I'm not going to say it's an alarming rate, but it's more than what
we're used to.
Yeah. Those two areas there, I think, are fixable, solvable. I don't know how you solve the turnover thing, except I think it's just consistent execution, which if there's a bugaboo with this team, that's it. They just have not consistent. Regardless if the staff is trying to make them play left-handed or not, maybe they are, but I know this: execute the shit that they've got on the drawing board consistently.
Yeah. Speaking of red zone, the offense in the red zone, outside of the Kentucky game, it's been very porous. Porous.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's a lot of field goals.
That's because the ratio, the field goal touchdown, which Kirby talked about in his post-game press conference, it is alarming how the differential is, and especially if you compare it to last year's team, because it felt like if we got into the red zone, we were going to get it in, and I think maybe Georgia kicked a field goal in the red area last year, probably like 3-4 times. So
let me point out another way to maybe emphasize our point, and I don't think it'd be that hard to go back and do, but think about the games where it's been somewhat close, right? South Carolina, Auburn, even Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
If we hold one or two of those to 3 points, and instead of us kicking field goals, we score touchdowns, that's a dramatically different score, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the South Carolina game would have been a blowout if we didn't miss those 2 field goals in the red zone.
And let them score on 3rd and 16, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't
And
that
then
yeah,
Auburn kicking field goals at Auburn, if those were 6, it would.
No, that was the Auburn game. We let them score 3rd and 16, wasn't it?
No. That was South Carolina where we blitzed on 3rd and 16, and then Auburn. There were multiple times where we kicked the ball in the red area, which we shouldn't. I mean, just not. It would have been like a 20-point game still, and then Vanderbilt. It would have been like 50 something to 7.
Yeah.
10.
Now that one kid made a really good play. We just got Malachi just got beat.
Yeah, Malachi was all over him.
Yeah, he's all over him. So sometimes, they're just better than you on a certain play. But if you take it in the totality over the season, it would have made a big difference.
Yeah, I think so far the story or the theme that you could put on the Georgia football is missed opportunities.
Well, said a different way, I would just say inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I shouldn't say mental lapses because I don't know if it's mental lapses. It's just inconsistent. Offense sometimes looks really good. Defense sometimes looked really good.
Kentucky was the best well-rounded performance
by far.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of the guys. Well, I know a lot of that still, but like I don't talk to them. I want to kind of understand what the difference is between Kentucky and then like why wouldn't you get up for Auburn the same way that you would get up for Kentucky? I understand that Auburn's not as good, but they're a rival, and
Well, I'm telling you that being on the road against Auburn that's a real thing, man. And
totally
and a lot of
understand
guys have not started before, like the quarterback on the road. That's real.
I totally understand that. I'm just talking about just like South Carolina again. Like there are these games where, the lack it looks like they don't have a lot of fire in them, and then they have to like wake up and do it. I gotta be honest with you. I know we're supposed to be focusing on the Vanderbilt game. That does worry me some for Florida. I don't think Florida can. By no means think Florida can beat Georgia, but I mean they are the boogeyman. So that kind of scares me going into Jacksonville next week, especially with no Brock.
I don't know. I out of all the different games that we're probably going to start taking a look and peeking ahead on, Florida's always scary because it's in Jacksonville, and I remember, and I remember all the times that we had the better team and lost down there.
Right.
But I just believe from a matchup standpoint, it's going to be really hard for Florida. That quarterback can't run. What gives Georgia trouble? A running quarterback. Yeah. I think they've got some talented, ETN and maybe who's the other guy? Pearsall.
Ricky Pearsall.
I think they've got talent there. I think that quarterback can complete some passes, but consistently doing it against Georgia and their ability to hit a big play. In other words, what I'm saying is I'm always worried about Florida. I'm not particularly worried about Florida as much as I think Missouri could be, even though it's at home. We come off of Florida, right? Missouri can score, man. They can score.
We're getting way too far in the weeds here, but you just talked about Florida not having a running quarterback. Missouri, that guy's a statue.
Yeah, but he's accurate, and they got big play guys on the outside that can go get the ball. Yeah,
but that Brundon kid, hey, he's really. I like him a lot. I wish Georgia got him. I think he's a great Luther Brundon, Missouri's wide receiver.
What I thought I thought his last name was Luther.
No, it's Luther Brundon, the third.
Well, whatever. I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, he's good, really good. He's going to be on Sundays. So that part worries me, but the quarterback part, I don't know. We'll see.
They can score. So let's just take this and tease it out, and let me put a little broader perspective on what I'm thinking. Coming off a big emotional game against Florida, still no Brock Bowers. We're at home. I have no idea. My guess is that's probably not going to be a Missouri and Georgia after
It'll be
Florida.
three. Yeah, I bet you'll be 3:30 CBS.
All right, so 3:30. Let's say we sleepwalk on that one. That's very easily you could see us being 21 to or 28-7, 21-3 going at halftime. That's a whole different picture, man. And now their defense is no
Their
good.
defense is awful.
Yeah, it's not that great. But if you're missing Brock Bowers, you turn the ball over the third quarter, you screw up a possession. I'm just telling you, Missouri scares me a little bit more than Florida. Obviously, Ole Miss can put up points. We better not sleepwalk through that one. Tennessee on the road, yeah, legitimate threat.
If they win this Saturday against Alabama, they have a shot to be in this thing.
And now they're playing at Alabama, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what the spread is on that, but
It's 9, which is crazy to me. But I don't think Tennessee's all that good.
I don't think they're all that good. And Alabama's lost once at home. And Alabama doesn't lose at home, right?
Yeah. Are you getting a lot of feedback, by the way? This is okay. Go ahead.
None. No, I don't. We'll see what happens. Obviously, anything can happen, but I think Alabama wins that one. I think they win it pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't think Tennessee's all that.
I don't think Tennessee's that great. They can score, and they're going to be at home, and I imagine that's going to be a night game, and we're not going to have Brock Bowers, and I think that could be a test. I'm more worried than any of them about Missouri.
Yeah. I would be on how really. I think Missouri's one of those games where, home field advantage probably plays a big part. That Ole Miss game does worry me. Lane Kiffin knows Kirby. He knows the Kirby Saban defense pretty well. I think Jackson Dart's pretty good. Ole Miss doesn't have a very good offensive line, but
they at running back, they've got
the running back's really good. Junkins, he's
Yeah.
good, and that they can do a lot of things well, and that does worry me. And Lane Kiffin's going to scheme it.
Oh yeah, I agree, and he's going to gamble.
Yeah.
So I agree. We've got now. I mean, obviously, it's been good in one way because the first part of this schedule was pretty light. We could take some time, get some stuff right. Now we've lost our stud at tight end. We're going to have to see. It's going to be tougher. Defense is going to have to step up. I mean, they're only allowing, I think, on average 14 points a game.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good. But they're going to have to be better in the second. Turnovers, that to me, they're going to have to find a way to get some turnovers and help this offense.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to. Amarius Mims could be back in next week. I don't think so. I think they're probably going to wait for him to get 100%. I expect him to be back for the Missouri game. Freeling, I don't know how to say his last name.
Freeling. Yeah.
He's shot up the roster, the depth chart. He's looked really good. He looked really good Saturday.
I thought he did good. Yeah. He's a true freshman, right?
Yeah, I thought he did better than Truss, but what do I know? But yeah, the offensive line, we've got to get healthy there. It'd be nice to get Mims back.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be really nice. I don't know exactly. Wide receiver Ladd played the most he played Saturday than any other game. So
is that right?
Yeah, we'll see what comes of that. Because we're gonna need him. We're gonna need him, Raw, and Dominic Lovett. Those are gonna be the three guys that we really want to.
I agree, and it's going to be Dylan Bell, and it's going to be
Jackson.
Yeah, all those guys on the edge players are going to be they're going to have to be, as well as Delt. He's got
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think people are every SEC team. Their fan bases are writing the eulogy for Georgia, thinking that they're going to lose twice. I guess that's what would have to happen. They can. I think they're going to all be sorely disappointed whenever they realize that Oscar Delp is really good.
They would love to have Oscar Delp on any one of those rosters that we're
Yeah.
about to play. He would be a stud tight end on your roster. So
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be pissed when they figure out that Georgia has another great tight end.
yeah,
I think,
I agree.
and Oscar Delp is a little different than Brockney. He's a little bit different than Darnell. He brings a little bit of he's more of a wide receiver, but this year he's really improved on his run blocking. So it'll be nice to see what he can do because we are going to have to live in a time where post Brock Bowers.
Sure,
He's gone after this year. I mean,
one way or the other, right?
Yeah, I would really wish that he would stay. I would beg him, but he's not. So that to me is exciting to find out. Lawson Lucky, another guy that I'm kind of ready to see.
I would like to. I don't know. I've Kirby said it. It's a big ask for these guys coming in as true freshmen to fight on the line up at the end of the line of scrimmage and go get you some.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple of times where it's like, ouch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's coming back, but he's got a little good. He hadn't had a chance to kind of acclimate himself to the physicality of playing tight end in SEC.
yeah, for sure.
But he's a talented guy.
Sure. He's an extremely talented guy. I don't think there's like the Vanderbilt game was such a it was
Weird.
a nothing burger. Yeah, it was weird. It was just good to get out of there.
Playing in a construction zone.
I mean, they should have had safety vest on.
What did it hold? 20,000.
Yeah, it was like 25,000 people,
and then
most of it was Georgia.
I was going to say 14,000. At least half was Georgia, right?
Had to be. I mean, how many fans do Vanderbilt even have to begin with? So
I don't know. And people started dropping like flies. Turf was wet.
Yeah, turf was awful, man.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
But I don't know. They said it's the same turf that the NFL has, but I don't. That they use. I don't have any idea, but
I don't know, man. It's embarrassing. It was really bad. I mean, Truss, that first where it wasn't the first.
That was a fumble. Yeah,
but it wasn't his fault. He never could get his cleats in the ground. He slipped.
Yeah, it looked like his foot was never under him.
Yeah.
And that Vanderbilt, that guy, he got hurt. I think it was the guy.
Yeah, their cornerback. That was supposed to be
that Brock Bowers took out.
Yeah.
Man, look at Brock knocking the piss out of somebody.
Yeah, it was our back, you mean?
I mean back, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a nothing burger. We kind of touched on it. I mean, what do you think Georgia, as of right now, where do you think Georgia finishes the regular season?
I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're going to drop one of these games. Based on what I don't know which one, but I think one of these games, even though they're going to be the better team, I think the inconsistency, the playing with your food, the turnovers is I could very easily see us losing one of these games. Now, is that going to knock us out of winning the East and going to the SEC championship? I don't know. It's going to obviously put us at no margin for error. We got to win. And I think if we get to the championship game and it's Alabama, I like our chances, even though that quarterback being the running quarterback, gives me a little heartburn. But Georgia, I think, could beat Alabama.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's talented enough to be – they're clearly a top 4 team.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are in the top 4. I'm not going to argue that. It doesn't matter. But I think very easily, unless Georgia cleans up some of these things, specifically the red zone and the turnovers and some of these lapses and inconsistencies that we've seen, one of those are going to come back and bite them in the ass if they don't get it fixed. That's what I think.
I see Georgia going undefeated. I really do. I mean, there might be a game that's closer than expected, and there might be one that might get the adrenaline pumping that we might lose. Georgia's the vastly talented team. I think it's going to be fine. I think we're going to figure out this offense. I'm not worried about Bobo and the offense without Bowers. I'm not concerned.
Well, I'm worried about it, but look. Here's the one thing I would say as more to me thinking they're going to lose one game. Having said that, I think this is one of the better coaching staffs in the country.
Right.
I think this bye week came at a really good time.
Yeah.
I think the fact going into it, knowing they're not going to have Bowers to kind of lean on for at least the next month, I think if we're seeing the red zone, we're seeing the turnovers, that coaching staff sees it too, and I think they're going to be working extremely hard to get that fixed.
I don't know, man. Is there a defense in the next 4 games that really scares you where we're not going to put up enough points to win? It's not Missouri. It's not Florida. Good God. It's not Tennessee.
Tennessee's defense is not that great.
Yeah.
I've watched Ole Miss, but I know their defense usually
is not good.
Yeah, they have to score so many points.
Yeah.
No, I understand. We're not playing lights out teams with lights out defenses, but
that would be the only thing that would scare me right now. If we had a defense that we're about to play in the next 4 weeks where they're just as they're on the level of Georgia, but there's not. So, and I would trust our defense to get 2-3 stops that we need to win the game.
Yeah, I think
probably now if turnovers happen and pick sixes happen, then that's a different story. But if you're just playing straight up, I don't.
Well, the turnovers, like I said, that, and I don't know how you coach that. Obviously, Beck's been pretty careful with the ball. How many interceptions to touchdowns does the guy have?
I don't know. He might have 3 interceptions, maybe right now.
So that's not terrible. It's other areas of turning the ball over. The punt or the kick. All those things. All those running backs. We've got to not turn the ball over, and the defense has got to get some.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make people kick field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. If they can do those things, Georgia could go undefeated very easily.
I think Georgia's probably going to go undefeated, and we'll play LSU and not Alabama.
Do you still think LSU? I'm sure they have those. If you ran the probability on who was going to from the West, it was going to be.
I think LSU might be the favorite.
You think?
I think.
I've watched them play.
Their one loss. Their one loss is outside the conference.
They're in. Georgia's more talented than they are.
Well, Alabama's one loss is out of conference too. I didn't think about that. Well, that game in that's in 3 weeks from now. That's a huge game.
So it's down to LSU and Alabama. Is A&M still in it, right?
No, they're done.
No, they're out. They lost.
They lost, yeah.
That's right.
If they beat Tennessee, they would have had an outside chance.
Are you surprised that Tennessee, because home made a difference there, I think.
Oh, but dude, A&M had so many. They've had so many chances. Jimbo's probably going to be fired after this. What are
they going to do?
Anything's better at this point.
$30 million on the buyout? What is this buyout?
I'm sure there's some oil baron out there that'll buy them out.
Whew, it hurt my feelings. At what point do you not look at the university and athletic director and say, quit coming to me with your hands out, boys? Make better hiring choices.
Yeah.
Didn't they give him an extension after the first year?
Yeah, it was like the first or second year they gave him an extension.
Yeah. Good choice.
I think it was the COVID year because they went to the Orange Bowl.
Like I said, good choice.
Yeah, great choice. And then it's Georgia, Missouri out of the East. Right, I guess right now. Florida still has an outside chance. Those
Tennessee's are out.
Huh?
Tennessee's out because they lost to Florida, right?
Right, and if Tennessee, Florida would have to win They'd have to win out, or they would have to lose another game for Tennessee to be in.
And all Missouri has to do is beat Georgia.
Yep. Yeah, at home, the number one team in the country, back-to-back defending national championship. Okay. That's
Well, we'll see if I'm right. I would have. I may be giving them too much credit, but I just
I
they can
think
put
you
up
are.
points.
They're extremely flawed.
Oh, I know they are,
Yeah.
but I can see they're one of those offenses that can put up a lot of points.
Yeah, they're spunky. They're a spunky bunch.
Counted on the edge, and quarterback can chunk it.
Yeah, I totally agree. But when it comes down to talent, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be real. You're going to have to play perfect. We said this months ago, but you're going to have to play perfect to beat Georgia. And I don't know who is capable of doing that.
That's hard. It will be difficult, but I think it's if Georgia comes out, sleepwalks, and has turnovers and can't score in the red zone and some of the things that we've seen, they could very easily get beat.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they realize that and recognize it. And I'm sure there's been a lot of film and a lot of talking by the staff and a lot of tweaking things that's going on in this bye week.
I would only hope. I mean, some of the things that have been happening need to be fixed. All right. I think that's about it. Go check out Terminus_sports on Twitter and Instagram. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, spread the word, something.
We appreciate the 24 people.
Yeah, we appreciate the viewers. Check out Don the Dog. Read some blogs. I have no idea what I'm going to write Friday, so if anyone's got any suggestions out there, feel free because I got nothing. Yeah, it's been really hard this week coming up with material. It's been rough this week, but somehow I keep figuring it out. All right, and then Unishippers Atlanta. Anything else before we head out? All the plugs?
No, I'm good.
All right. Next week will be Georgia, Florida, and we'll hate Florida all week. All right.
See ya.
See ya.